welcome back to my channel. So I feel like I haven't done a handbag focused video here on my channel in quite some time. So today I just wanted to sit here and kind of do a little bit of a chatty video, just sharing with you guys a few of the handbags that have really been on my mind recently that I can't stop thinking about, and actually none of them are from Chanel. I feel like I have been shopping from Chanel a lot recently, but yeah, these are all handbags from other designer brands that I just can't get out of my mind. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Do let me know what you guys think of these bags. What kind of bags are you thinking of nonstop recently that you're thinking of purchasing soon, or maybe it's on your wish list? Let me know in the comments down below, and let's get into this video. So the first bag I want to talk about is from Celine, and it is their 16 bag. So specifically the one that I would be interested in is their mini 16 bag. So it's basically a top handle bag, which, as you are probably well aware of, I love top handle bags. And this specific one has been around for quite some time, but honestly, it was never on my radar because I thought the shape of the flap just looked like a pair of underwear, which is just so strange to have something designed like that on a bag of yours, in my opinion. So yeah, I was never really considering this bag, but I don't know, recently my opinion on this bag kind of changed. I still do think that the kind of shape of the flap does look like a pair of underwear, but other than that, I do think the bag is really pretty, and this bag is $3,700, so it's not exactly cheap for the size of bag you get, but it's also not like as crazy expensive as another top handle bag that I'll be talking about a little bit later. And yeah, I just think this bag is so pretty, especially since it is in the smooth calfskin, which has this really nice shine to it. I just think it's so pretty. Of course, there are some downfalls of that smooth leather. It does scratch so easily, and even when I see the ones on display in stores, they're not always in the greatest condition, but I think that's something you just have to accept when you're getting something in kind of like a box leather type of material. And they did recently release one in this light purple lavender color, and oh my gosh, this color just completely has my heart. It is so pretty, and I do have a different bag in a similar color. So I have the mini reissue from Chanel in this kind of lavender color, but I have mentioned in a previous video that I would consider switching that out for something else. So the Chanel mini reissue, I got it for like $4,000 something. This one is slightly less, but I don't entirely know if it's worth it for me to make the switch, like to sell my mini reissue and get this. So ever since I got a refund for my defective book tote from Dior, I've been wanting to add another tote bag back into my collection. So of course I do have my Louis Vuitton Neverfull in the MM size. It's in the damier ebene, but honestly, I like that bag because it's functional, but I don't truly enjoy carrying it, if you get what I'm saying. Like, yes, it's a great bag. I do recommend it. It's like a great everyday tote bag. You can use it for work, to carry your laptop. You can use it for travel, all of the above. But yeah, it's just not a bag that I like for how it looks. So recently I've been kind of looking at a bunch of different tote bags. There are 3 that are on my mind right now. There are some that I like more than others, some that I would be more likely to get than the other ones. But I just wanted to share all 3 with you guys. So the first one is another Dior Book Tote. And yes, I know if you've heard about this whole situation between me and the Dior Book Tote and trying to get a refund for my defective one, I'll leave that video up here if you're interested, by the way. But yeah, I kind of said that I would never get another Dior Book Tote. Like, why put myself through that in case there is another defect that comes up like 2 years later on? That defect was not something that showed up right away. So I was like, okay, no way I'm going to get another Dior Book Tote. but they pulled me back in when they released the like map of Paris pattern. It's just so pretty, and that pattern really I think looks best on like the Dior Book Tote because you don't have all these little like bits of hardware or whatever that blocks the pattern. Yes, you do have that Dior, like Christian Dior, like strip of writing at the center, but other than that, you just have this like blank canvas for that map of Paris pattern, and it also is a little bit more enlarged than say if you were to get like some type of like SLG or like their midsole scarf, or I feel like on their clothing, I looked at that too, it's a little bit busy on the clothing for me, so I really think that that pattern looks the best on the book tote. And for the medium book tote, the background of it is actually black, so it got me to thinking, like, maybe this is okay. Maybe even if the glue oxidizes, you're not going to see it against black. So I tell myself, I know this makes no sense, I really should stay away from it, but that pattern is just so pretty, and it's $3,200, which I feel like for a pattern that is that intricate, I'm surprised they're not charging more. Yes, it's really expensive for a canvas tote bag, I know that, and it's a big risk to take because I do not want to put myself through the stress of having to deal with talking to their customer service if there ever is another problem with this. So I know I should not get this, but it is just such a stunning pattern. So that's the first tote bag that is really on my mind right now. The second one is the Chloe Woody Tote. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of that like Chloe logo all over like the handle, and it kind of like goes onto the bag itself too. It's so loud in my opinion. If my name was Chloe, then great, that would be perfect, but it's not. So I don't think having that like branding on there really makes too much sense for me. So that was a bag that I was like, okay, it's a really handy bag to have, but it never really was something that I was considering for myself. But then recently they released one that is a little bit more subtle in my opinion, because the Chloe wording on the handle is not in this like bold black color against white. It's more kind of tonal. It's like kind of like a gray color on like an off-white background. I'll show a picture of it up on the screen. But the thing is, this one costs a little bit more. So if you're looking at the Chloe website, the one that I'm referring to is $1,350 US, and on the Chloe website, like the typical ones that are, you know, kind of available all year round, they're not specific to any type of like summer or winter collection, whatever. Those are only $1,250. And not to mention, if you look on 24S, the medium Woody Tote, which is the one that I would be interested in, it's only $950 as opposed to the $1,250. And they currently have a 20% off sale on a few of those colors. So after all of that, the difference in price is like $600. And is it worth it to pay that much more for one that is a little bit more subtle, but like it's still in the same materials? It's not like you're getting a leather one as opposed to canvas. It's still the same materials. Is it worth it to pay that much, or should I just get like the cheaper one and, you know, see how I feel about it, use it in the summer? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, by the way, I'll leave in the description box down below the one on 24S if you're interested in saving like a ton of money compared to getting it from Chloe directly. But yeah, this is something that, again, I didn't think I would buy, but you know, I need another tote bag. So, well, I don't need another tote bag, but I want another tote bag, so I'm considering it. And then the last tote bag that I'm considering might not make much sense to you because I said I don't really like the look of my Neverfull MM in the Damier Ebene. But the next one is actually a Neverfull. It's slightly different though. It's in the Damier Azur. And this was always one that I kind of considered getting in the past, but I didn't think it was different enough from the one that I already have. but they recently released this Damier Azur one that's part of their like nautical collection, and it has like all these like prints of like ropes and chains on it, and that whole collection, by the way, I just think is so pretty. But I kind of like zoomed in on the Neverfull specifically because that is a style of bag that I already love using. I'm very familiar with it, and I don't know, I really like it. It's maybe a little bit gaudy in a way. I don't know. It has this sort of, I would say, like a Versace flair to it, and I think it's done really well. I don't know. I think it's like a love it or hate it type of collection, but I really like it. Yes, it does cost like a few $100s more than your typical Neverfull but I don't think the price is too insane. It's $2,370. It's still pretty acceptable. It costs less than the Dior Book Tote at least, but yeah. I still don't know how I feel about those straps, the like untreated leather. It's going to turn a darker color, which is part of the reason that I was so hesitant to get the Damier Azur one. Yes, I like how it looks when it's kind of like this creamy white color, but especially on the Damier Azur, when it darkens, I don't know how much I would like that. I don't know, like sometimes I see it in photos and I'm like, okay, it patinaed really nicely, but other times I'm just like, ugh, I don't think that looks good at all. So I don't know, maybe I should just stop at one Neverfull. Maybe it's just a bag that I should have for the functionality purpose alone and not for something, you know, to make like a style statement or whatever. So the last two handbags are both from Louis Vuitton, and you guys are probably thinking, wait a second, what happened? What's with this complete 180 in your opinion of Louis Vuitton? Because I was never like the biggest fan of Louis Vuitton. It just wasn't something like a brand that really spoke to me. Like, yes, they released a lot of styles of handbags, but I don't know, I was just never really drawn to many or any of them, I guess. Like, yes, I do own my Neverfull. I had the Nano Speedy at one point. I have some SOGs here and there, but it's not something that I was really interested in because most of their pieces do seem to be in their monogram canvas, which I'm just not really about that, if I'm being completely honest. But recently I have kind of seen them in a new light in a way, and the piece that I first want to talk about, I do kind of like this more in the canvas than in their leather versions. So I'm talking about the side trunk, and just generally speaking, I love that kind of like history with Louis Vuitton and their trunks, and usually any of their bags that have kind of like trunk detailing or look to it, I just think they're so pretty. Like, for instance, the Petite Mal, that bag, if you can even call it a bag, is so stunning. I would never get it because it's crazy expensive, can't hold anything, and I would never use it. But yes, it is a very pretty bag. I also really love like their kind of like hat box themed bags too. So like the Bois Chapeau, that is also really pretty. But the side trunk, it's like they took the trunk shape but made it more relaxed in like this perfect type of like effortless casual way. I don't know what it is about it. I just think it is so pretty. I love all those like little detailings on it, like on the corners and all along the leather on the sides and everything. I also love how like that zipper opening, it does kind of like snap into place with that like S-lock closure. I don't know, I just think that makes it look a lot more refined than if you just have like this zipper pull swinging around. It's like the little details, right? And then it has that like slouchiness to it that I think is so pretty. A little bit reminiscent of the Loewe puzzle bag in my opinion. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, it kind of also looks like the newly released Dior club bag. Maybe you guys might really like that bag, but for me it's like an awful lazy design. But the side trunk is just like, it combines all the heritage aspects of Louis Vuitton into like a user-friendly bag in like the best way possible. I just think it is so pretty. And yes, they do have the leather versions. There's kind of like this brownish one and a black one in like their is it like their empreinte leather? I'm not even entirely sure, but it still does have like the monogram patterning on it. It's just that it's in leather as opposed to canvas. They also have like a few like special ones too, but I do think that because this is inspired by their trunks, like it's even in the name, it's called the side trunk. I just think that because it's inspired by like their trunk pieces, that it just looks the best in monogram. This next one, or well, it's the last handbag on today's list, is totally much more understated compared to the side trunk. It still does have some branding on it, but yeah, it's much more understated and also much more expensive. It is the Louis Vuitton Capucines, the mini version, the mini size. And yes, this bag has been around for so long. It's like Louis Vuitton's flagship bag. It's, you know, maybe supposed to compete with the Hermes Kelly or whatever. And I don't know. I never was super interested in it. Partly because I feel like everyone always says how it's so overpriced. And yes, it is so overpriced, especially if you compare it to Louis Vuitton's canvas pieces, which are like more at an entry-level price point. And I think it's kind of to their detriment that, you know, people see Louis Vuitton's canvas pieces and the prices that they're priced at, and it's like, oh, it's like $2,000, $3,000, and then you have this bag which is like close to $7,000, and it's like such a big shock when you think about how it's like 2 times, 3 times the price. And the mini capucines is even more expensive than, for example, the Celine Mini 16 that I just talked about earlier in this video. It's more expensive than the Fendi Peekaboo, for example. It's even more expensive than the Chanel Mini with handle. And I feel like it's also more expensive than the Coco handle from Chanel too, in like a comparable size. So yeah, this is a very expensive bag. But the one that really got me thinking about the capucines was like kind of a recent release of theirs. It is so gorgeous, but it's $6,750 US. It's in this mint green color. The handle is like this beautiful, I don't even know what it's made out of, but it has like, it reminds me of like jade in a way. It's kind of everything that I wish jade was. So there's like these few different pieces, like barrels in a way, that are joined together to form the handle, and each piece of it is like a different design. And then the LV logo on the front is also in this kind of like florally, kind of like jade like looking thing. I'm describing it horribly. A picture will be up on the screen, so you're not like, huh, what are you talking about? But yeah, this bag is just so stunning. If I was collecting a bag in every color of the pastel rainbow, definitely would get this. But a mint green bag, don't know how often, if ever, I would wear it. And yes, I do have a lot of pastel color bags, so maybe it wouldn't be like so out of the ordinary if I added this too, plus like a pastel yellow also, then I would really complete that rainbow. But yeah, I just don't know if I could wear like this mint green colored bag, but it is very, very stunning. This is probably one of the more expensive ones in that like capucines range, or like the mini capucines range. I think like most of them are like towards the lower 6,000 range. So this is definitely, you know, it's more special, so it's more expensive. And they do have like the BB size, which is in white, and then the handle is kind of like white and pink. If they made that one in the mini size, then hands down, no brainer, I would totally get it. Even the green one is just so stunning. But yeah, I just, for that amount of money, I can't do it. But this is still a very pretty bag. And yes, it does have that LV logo on the front, but it's not as loud and in your face as like the monogram canvases. And also, I don't see many people using like the capucines in real life either. I've probably only seen it like a handful of times. So yeah, definitely not nearly as loud as the canvases. So I feel like I would feel more comfortable wearing this bag. And plus it's a top handle bag, so definitely much more my style. So those are the 6 bags that have been on my mind that I can't stop thinking about recently. And what do you guys think of these bags? Are any of these like shockers to you guys? Are there any that you just did not expect me to even take a second glance at whatsoever? Let me know in the comments down below, and I would love to know what handbags that you've been thinking about, whether it's just like admiring from afar or you're thinking of purchasing or have recently purchased. Let me know all of that in the comments down below. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do consider subscribing for new videos every single week on luxury and fashion. And I'll leave 2 videos on the screen for you to watch next, so I'll see you very soon. Bye for now!